Hello, I'm Mary Mendla, host of Creative Journeys Artist Network, and welcome to Third Monday Artist Demos. Today I will be demonstrating rust washing as used in mixed media painting. So here's all you need to get started. Distilled white vinegar, a wide mouth, large jar, 3% hydrogen peroxide, a piece of steel wool, the plain steel wool, not the kind that has soap mixed in with it, a little spray bottle, some fixative. I like to use Spectrafix. It's a casein-based fixative, a small spritz bottle, and some tools to spread the rust wash around the surface. To get started, fill up your jar, maybe about 2/3 of the way, with the distilled white vinegar, and place 1 or 2 pieces of steel wool in the jar and seal it. Then you have to be patient and let the solution soak for 1 to 2 weeks until it's ready. The hydrogen peroxide is used to activate the rust after it's on the surface of the painting, and then the fixative is used at the very end to fix the rust wash to the surface of the painting when it's done. So let's get started. Now here is a very well seasoned jar of rust solution that's actually been soaking for a couple of months. The steel wool is not only rusted, but it is completely dissolved by this time. I have hydrogen peroxide standing by for the next step after I put the rust solution on this painting. As I put the rust solution on, it looks like nothing's happening, but watch and it will begin to show a little bit of color as it oxidizes from the oxygen in the air. A little bit more color starts to develop as the rust solution is dried, but it is still very, very pale. Now it's time to see some of the magic happening. Hydrogen peroxide increases the oxygenation, which frankly is what rusting is, and the color develops beautifully into a very lovely, rich, rusty looking brown. The surface of the painting gets dried in between each step of this process. I hurry it along with the hairdryer because I'm impatient. Additional applications of the rust solution can be put onto the surface. You can keep going as long as you want with it to develop however much color and contrast and interest in the different marks that the rust creates. When you're finished with the rust application and the surface is dry, then use a fixative. In this case, I'm using Spectrafix casein-based fixative, but any good art fixative will work. The rust is not permanent until there's a fixative layer sprayed over the surface. Next, I'll do another one that has a little more color in it as I was playing with my new set of Derwent Inktense blocks on a small 6-inch gesso board panel. The technique and materials are just the same on this one as they were in the previous panel. I'm just putting it on a little more heavily and more randomly with an eyedropper to let the solution move around as I tip the panel and have it drip and create some interesting random marks on the panel. Here I'm using the hairdryer to push the solution around a little bit to increase the randomness of the marks that the rust will leave on the panel. And here comes the magic with the peroxide. While it's still wet, the rust can be moved around quite a bit if you want to use a palette knife or a squeegee to play with the areas that the rust is covering. See some very interesting visual texture created by the rust as it was applied over the Inktense color. These two little beauties are not finished paintings at this point. Once a rust-washed surface is well fixed with a quality art fixative, you can continue creating additional layers over the surface, including with oil-based paints and mediums, which is something that I really like to do, starting out with water-based mediums in the early layers and doing finishing with oil and cold wax. So have some fun and experiment with rust washes and see what you come up with. You might create something that you absolutely love.